Bootcamp. Can I confirm that you can hear me loud and clear? Good evening. Can I confirm you can hear me loud and clear, please? Yes, good evening. Inyobong Bumni Oltoyosi, Oluwaseun Adetola, Dorcas, Mabel, Simi. Good and beautiful evening. Welcome once again to this evening's session. As is our usual practice, I have with me on the coach tonight Miss Nancy Baba Ali. We welcome you to another wonderful session. How have you been, or how was your day? I hope it's been very educative, insightful, impactful, and also successful. Good evening, Dorcas. You are welcome. How are we doing? Hope everybody is cool and good. All right. You're welcome. You're welcome this evening. It's going to be another interesting time where we talk about project management. Yeah, so what were the key takeaways in the last class? What I think we rounded off the last class by evaluating ourselves to see how good we assimilated the session, what was taught, what we learned, and the key takeaways. So just to be sure that we are on the same page, what was what can you say from the last class? Okay, Oluwaseun, good evening. Akimpelu is sending our regards to Miss Nancy. We send our greetings as well. Yemi, good evening. Teresa, good evening. Irene, good and beautiful evening. So we are welcome. Welcome once again to tonight's class. And it's going to be another interesting time where we talk about project management. Okay? So if we are ready tonight, can I confirm, yes, that we are ready? Otoyosi, in her usual way, do of always providing that first step in trying to give the recap. She says she learned about leadership styles in project management and the leadership skills that are essential to bring out the best in the project manager. Yeah. Omodasola says that she learned that leaders are made not by Emilio Khan. Okay. She also learned the leadership styles and learned the skills needed to be a good leader. And she learned the difference between a manager and a leader. She's concluding by saying that she's a mix of both, right? Okay. Simi says that in the last class, we talked about leadership, styles of leadership, and importance of leadership. She went further to say that we evaluated ourselves to know if we fall under being a leader or a manager. Esther says that she learned about the difference between a manager and a leader. Okay, so Irene says that she learned the art of getting others to do something and the various concepts in leadership. Good evening, Esther is sending regards to all the Texas in the house. Oluwatosin is also lending her voice to tonight's class, the recap of the last class, that she learned that leadership is influence, the ability to manage people and resources to achieve a common goal. She also is saying that leadership style is situational, very, very key. So, all right, Haja Kalon, good evening and welcome tonight. All right, it's that time where we talk about project management. So, without much ado, let's kick off tonight's class, okay? Yes, I can still see some comments in the chat box, recap, and all that we have said so far in leadership. I think we defined leadership. We talked about the four factors of leadership. We also talked about the concept of leadership, leadership styles, other leadership styles, the manager, and the leader. So tonight we will be, JJ, you're welcome. Good to have you here tonight. So we would be delving straight into why we are here tonight. Yeah, Bumi, I quite agree with you. Leaders are made and not born. Promotion is taught for someone somewhere. You have to work and be who you want to be as a leader. Okay, tonight we will delve quickly into ethics and certifications in project management. So, tonight we will be able to conclude the program. Okay, the 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 class sessions. Okay, so we should be able to do that tonight. I think we're excited about that. But I just want to also say here that we are looking forward to every student having to turn in a capstone project. So just like as we had the team projects, every it is expected that every student turns in a project, a real live situational project. Okay, so we would be expecting your submissions. Okay, so work on something, work on a project, and let us have um, your details. Just as we had team submissions, so we are going to also be evaluating each student based on their individual projects. So please, I would also expect team leaders that are here, please take this message to, if you have a platform for your team members, now we would be having the capstone project. That is, turn in your own project. Okay. Identify a project, work on it, and let us have details. Just as you submitted the project charter, the Gantt charts, your risk, the challenges, lessons learned, whatever that needs to be done, how you achieved that project, the budget for the project, things like that. Who are the people involved in the project, the teams, the roles, the responsibilities. So we have we have up until next week, okay, the end of next week to try and turn that in. Okay, so I hope we are together on this. So the community manager is still going to reiterate this to every one of us, because I'm sure not everyone is here um, at this time where I'm making this announcement. So it's important we drive this message home. Okay. All right. So let's delve in quickly into tonight's class, ethics. So every project, everything we do um, has a morality behind it. Is it good? Is it bad? So we want to talk about why the importance of morality in projects management. Okay, so when we are handling projects, we need to look at the bigger picture, who we are on that project, because we're working with people. Okay, Olaide, every student is expected to turn in an individual project. So that would be your final evaluation, okay, on the project management class. Okay, so we are hoping that at the end of the week or next week, you should be able to turn it in. Okay, so the organizers have to evaluate what you have learned so far on this particular program using all we have been able to, all the teachings, the terminologies, okay, just as we have done for our team projects. Okay, so that would be very important. So let's delve further tonight's class. So we will be talking about, I'm sure bribery, corruption is not new to any one of us. So what kind of ethics, what do we need to bring on board when we are on a particular project? So bribe is normally referred to as offering, promising, giving, accepting, or soliciting of an advantage as an inducement for an action which is illegal or a breach of trust. So what we're saying tonight is that there are there are different motivations and reasons why people embark on projects. Some persons embark on a particular project simply because of the tip-offs that they do get from it. Okay, some persons do what we call it settlements. Okay, so whatsoever is illegal, okay, illegal actions, activities, tip-offs in contracts, inflation of invoices. For example, you are involved in a project where you have to purchase fuel for vehicles, and you know that at the end of the day you bought it for 500,000 naira, and you inflate it to 600,000 naira so that you can have an advantage of 100,000 naira. When you know that there's little or no need to do that. So it's morally not right. It's unacceptable. Okay. So we also have uh, facilitation payments where you have to get a contract, you have to pay someone in a particular organization so that the contract can get to you. You don't have to pay for to get projects. There's no need for tip-offs. Okay. Then excessive hospitality. Sometimes people just become unnecessarily caring, unnecessarily overly nice. I think that's the language. Some people tend to be overly nice simply because they want to get a particular contract, or they want something else in between on the project. So, and sometimes the package gifts bring them to you and just say, thank you for, they're just thanking you for nothing, really. So, what's the gift for? I just said, let's just get a gift for, but within that person knows within him or herself that that's it's like a tip off, so that it can swing discussions on his or her advantage. So there are a whole lot of things that happen in that space. So a lot of things that result in bribery, a lot of things that result in corruption, favors. Okay, sometimes favors just come not not naturally for that project. So why is it coming? Why are you giving that tip off? Why is it necessary to do that? So you discover that it affects. Yeah, I think I'm seeing something in the chat box. I think I need to look at that. Ogono, you're not missing anything yet, okay? All right. So yes, Modasola says appreciation. What are you actually appreciating for? An envelope of large sums of money. Okay. Akim Pelupi says, what about extra money left over from a project? Is it right to pocket it? Because most people do. I'm sure you're not most people. Why would you pocket extra money? Okay, that's the question. If that money is meant for that project, okay. So we talked about end value. Okay. So is the sponsor aware that there's an extra money left over from that particular project? You can. No, what we're saying is, if for example, you did your normal budgeting and there are plus or minus in it. It's a different, that's not what we're saying. What we're saying tonight is unnecessarily you're taking up monies that you know that you are not supposed to take. So if at the end, let's say after the project closure, there's like 100,000 left. You discuss with the sponsor, project sponsor, okay, this is what is left from that project. Okay. And the sponsor can be magnanimous enough to say, oh, I think you can keep it. It's a different thing. But when you uh, unnecessarily, there's just a tip off. So what exactly are you keeping the money for? So so we should be guided. Monies that will not cost you, will not allow you to sleep well. So this is what we're saying. Someone comes to your office and says, and just brings in a brown envelope of 200,000 naira. What for? I just said, let me appreciate you with this envelope. And then 2 days later, he comes in that, there's this, you will no longer feel comfortable because you would want to, well, maybe people like us would still tell you, oh, I'm sorry, you have to be straight up. So ethics, it's very important in projects. So whatever we are doing, we should understand that anything that would sway your decision making system in favor of that particular person simply because of what he or she has given, it's not morally right. So trying to give an undue advantage, like when there's a bidding up for contracts, you go behind to see the contractors, the project consultants. What for? Like, it's not needed. So most of the times we discover that you don't need to take gifts to such people. You don't need to no inducements whatsoever. So we should, as much as possible, try to abate crime, bribery, and corruption. So it starts from you, the project manager. It's very key, very important. Okay. And then different we have why projects are different for project managers. There's so much pressure for you to be efficient at what you do. The decisions that you take, a lot of people are watching you. Every project has its the way it works, the way it moves, the timelines. So projects are fast paced. You are pressed for time. So it doesn't mean that you have to take tip offs. What are your personal values as a project manager? There are people who we have seen over time that influence projects because somebody has brought um, a bag of money or some other items. We should remember that every stakeholder have different value systems. So where you are coming from may be quite different from when the other person or the other stakeholder is coming from. There may be stakeholders who will tell you that without tip off, they're not going to get a project. Says who? But in a sane system, we should understand. So every stakeholder have their behaviors. We should also understand that in every project, as a project manager, that there are going to be clashes of interest or conflict of interest. There would also be what we call multicultural um, clashes, because no two people come from the same environment, the same value system, the same lifestyle, the same attitude. So you need to ask yourself, are you going to put your profession on the line as against what you are standing for? So it's very important to understand your role as a project manager. So whatever we do would be impacted by the decisions that we take. So we're talking about ethics because these are things, values that make or mar who you are and what you do in every project that you are handling. So it's going to go a long way. Why is somebody bringing a gift to you? Why is he seeking for a favor? Because he knows tomorrow will step in and say, please, can you do this? And most of the problems we have as project managers emanate from the fact that someone else somewhere has your file in their hands. So they understand that I have given you that tip off. For as long as you have taken it, you can't say no. You can't run away. You can't look straight in the eye of that particular stakeholder and say no when the no is supposed to be no. So your yes should be yes. Your no should be no. And how can you achieve that? You can only get that done if and only if you understand that your value system must not be compromised. Your decision making system must not be compromised. So that understanding must be there. So every organization has ethics. The society at large is also watching for the kind of ethics that are being brought on a particular project. The profession itself calls, demand that you bring your best ability, attitude, and what? Actions. Your value will be called to question, and then the individual. So these are four aspects. When the project manager, the profession, the society for which that particular project is being implemented, and the organization for which that project manager is acting on behalf. So it's very important, if we must make impact as project managers, to understand and control the ethical value or ethical behavior that we put out there. So why do we need to manage ethics properly? It will help protect against damaging perceptions, what people feel that we are doing, who people feel that we are as project managers. Oh, don't mind it. That is how they did that road. After 2 weeks, everything collapsed. That is how they did a cake for us in the wedding, and the cake did not stand. He collected it and gave to his brother. Do you really need to give your brother the project, the consultancy project, if he or she is not qualified? Ethics. So we can damage the perception, what people feel about us. We can damage what people feel about the project. We can damage what people feel about the organization and the profession. There could also be legal and moral backlash. So some of the time, you see some of the cases that get to the judiciary. It's not simply because it ought to get there, but simply because of this ethical mismanagement. We also need to understand that ethics will help us to differentiate our customers and the consumers. It would also help to develop a culture of trust. When you are on board a project as a project manager, do people trust you enough to say, yes, I'm sure this manager is going to give his or her best in this particular action? Like the team members in some of the groups or in our teams, we discovered that they were really applauding their team leaders because there was an element of trust. So it was possible to attract and also retain the confidence reposed on them by these team members. And of course, it helps to it helps to efficiently put things in control. So, as a project manager, your sponsor can go to bed to sleep and say, "Yes, I'm sure, I'm confident about what this person is doing." You're given a contract to procure 400 vehicles. Each vehicle costs 15 million naira. You go for a cheaper one for 8 million naira so that you can pocket 7 million naira difference on each particular vehicle. It's ethically, it's not right. We're not talking about cost. We're talking about, are you going to do something that is substandard, or are you going to live up to expectation? So it is about you and your profession doing the right thing when you ought to do the right thing. So that is what we're talking about tonight. So, in summary, on ethics, it is not just about the law and doing the right thing, it is beyond that most of the time. So, also, you have to consider, do you have to manage the ethics and its image on your project? Because every project is an asset in itself. And the project can make or mar who you are. So it shouldn't just be about, let me just handle the project and let it go. After the project, what kind of recommendations would be heard about you? Or you're just rushing the project so that they would say, yeah, he did it, or she did it. Every project is good business and should be treated as a good business. You need to also be able to understand the theory that makes you either feel, think, or talk about issues. Like I did mention some previous one of our classes, that you have to keep emotions aside and do your job as a project manager. You should also understand that there will definitely be warning signs. Do not ignore warning signs. Some of the collapse structures that we have today could possibly have been an overlap of multiple issues, overlooking of multiple issues. It shouldn't be that way. The understanding should be such that when you see something, you should be able to talk about it, be aware, and also to take actions. Very important. So leadership is about people, not rules. We should understand that we should be at our best ethical behavior at all times. It will help to keep our respect. It will help to keep our profession intact. It will help to win us more jobs. Unfortunately, there are sponsors who don't want people who want to do the right thing. A lot of people want to cut corners, and cutting corners do not help anyone, or it does no one any good. So, very important. We must understand that. So let's go over to the chat box tonight. Have you had any issue, any point in time where you had to battle with ethical considerations with someone on a project? Have you had any similar issues like that where your belief system, the values, have been called to question where as to whether you should tilt or not? So let me hear you, if you can hear me in the chat box. Have you had a time where your ethical onus had been called to question, or where you had to stand up and say, no, I think it's best for me to do it right? Yeah, in the chat box, are we still together? If you can hear me, can I confirm that you can hear me loud and clear? Okay. Yeah, Jekolai, you're not too late. Yeah, okay. So have there been any time, any point in time where your ethical value system have been called to question? Where maybe you've been challenged, somebody tried to tip you off, someone tried to sway you to convince you to get into a particular action, which ordinarily you know that it's not right? Have there been any issue like that? Yeah, JJ says, yeah. Okay. So what exactly was it? Okay, Doka says at some point she was handling a final year project. Okay. Hmm. Yes, Amuda Sola, I think I can relate with that. People come to look for contracts in the office and always want to give her money, and she turns it down, and they are shocked because her other colleagues do take them. Yeah, so we have issues like this, especially not just in public sector, public and private sector. So it happens a whole lot, okay? Mabel says a consumer telling her to use a particular product which is fake instead of her product due to the high price. Yeah. Mother Sola says her sis is a procurement officer in her organization. You can imagine that. Now, Joy says she's asking, when asked to procure goods, is it ethical to add an amount on the price of the goods from the seller before relating the amount to the sponsor? The first question is here, that additional fee, what exactly is it for? Okay, let's take for an example. You are you've given to supply 5,000 pieces of textbooks to a school at, let's say, 50,000 naira per book. The first question is, we know that there would be logistics. Where are you going to add the logistics? Are you going to add the logistics on the price of each book, or you're going to add logistics for that will cater for sending down the books to the school? What some people would ordinarily do is to say, let's make it 7,000. 2,000 naira is my own. After adding the, you had a 5,000 naira. On that 5,000 naira, the 5,000 caters for your contingencies. It's just like some of the time where there is, I think I can recall a situation where a child, a student called her parent and said that she was told to bring, that the payment for a textbook was 5,000 naira. Meanwhile, the cost of the textbook was 2,000 naira. Now she needed extra 3,000 naira. So why add 3,000 naira? There are other contingencies, yes, but those contingencies, she has also added them as another contingency in another budget she is still making on that same demand. So you can still see that. That is the problem. So you can imagine. So there are a lot of ways where, when we started, we said there could be inducements, there could be inflating contracts, invoices, something that was procured for 100, you say it's 500, you just you just inflate the figures. So why are all these things? Appreciation is not a bad idea. I quite agree with you. After the project, you can be appreciated for good work. But now you know that that appreciation is not going to influence the project. But when you take an appreciation that you know would influence or turn the decision-making system of that particular project, what are you doing? So you can imagine colleagues not wanting the remaining amount of money of the project to be retired back to the sponsor. Why? So I think that, sometimes the problem is this. We should be able to draw a line between what we want. The project should not be a yes, you have profits, no doubt, but it's not a venture where you have to rip off the project itself. So I think we need to understand that. So what are you lobbying a project for? If you have the requisite experience, you tender your bid for that project. And when the job gets to you, so in your request for bidding proposal, you should bring your A game, all that makes you feel that yes, this is why I should get this project. You bring them on board. Now, when you tip off to get a project done, at the end of the day, you still don't get the expertise to get the work done. So why are you tipping off? Why are you lobbying? Okay, so there are a lot of issues. There are a whole lot of issues. Okay, so we are discussing this to know why. So it is our professional responsibility to be project managers that have integrity. We should exhibit high level of professionalism. What we are doing should contribute to the project management knowledge. It should enhance individual competence. What am I doing? We should be very professional in what we are doing. And under the project management professional code of conduct, our ethics system, the legal system, the cultural system, the ways we handle or manage conflicts goes a long way to decide how the project would end. So a lot of people, you made a finance officer. What do? You tell other team members, see, it's an opportunity for us to buy, to live, to get luxuries and all that. That is misappropriation. Monies intended for a particular project should be used for that project, and not giving substandard response on the project. Some cement bags that are what you're supposed to get 10 bags of cement for that particular task. You buy five. After purchasing five, you know that that five is not enough. You still go out of your way to see that the project suffers. You can imagine. You said that we purchased 42 bags of cement, but in the real sense, you did not purchase 42 bags of cement, but you want that amount to be written as that they purchased 42 bags of cement. Who does that? So it would definitely amount to trouble. That is why we're saying that in project management, there's what we call code of conduct. The way you ought to present yourself, the way you ought to work. So integrity and professionalism means that you understand what should be done. You know the legal requirements. You know the ethical standards that govern the work that you're doing. It's not morally right. You understand the value of the different or the various stakeholders on that project. What is proper judgment? You know what to do, when to do it, how to do it. You know what is wrong. You know that doing the wrong thing at the wrong time or even the right time is definitely wrong. Integrity is also about compliance with organizational rules and policies. Integrity and professionalism is about refraining from accepting gifts, inducements, inappropriate payments, providing accurate and truthful representation to the public. Sometimes people give reports and you doubt the report in the public space because there is no confidential, there's no truthfulness in that report. Integrity and professionalism is about maintaining confidentiality of sensitive information. You don't give out information that there's what we call non-disclosure agreement, NDA. So whatever you do in the organization remains in there. It's not for public consumption. So we, as project managers, ought to be professional in all that we do. So when we talk about the project management profession, you need to understand the policies guiding the work that you are doing. You need to understand the role of the community that you're interacting with. For example, you are distributing palliatives to IDP camps. In what location? You need to understand the attitude, the actions, the body language of the community and the media. You should communicate properly at all times. So we've talked about communication skills. We need to also be the leader that we need to be. Because as a leader, you will definitely communicate. You will definitely transfer knowledge from one person to another as a mentor and a coach. You need to respect and recognize intellectual property. Said non-disclosure agreement. There are things you don't say about an organization. It stays in the workplace. It is for the workplace. So you have to be very professional. Very, very professional. And then we talk about individual competence. You should know your strength as a project manager. You should know your weaknesses. Like the 42 bags of cement that was not even bought and to be accounted for. So who accounts for it? Someone else wants to keep the blame to somebody else. It's very deadly. It's criminal. So it's very important that we understand that your integrity must be intact, your knowledge level must be intact. You must know your strengths, your weaknesses, and the learning styles and the leadership styles. Self-evaluate yourself. Know your competencies. Then you also need to apply what we call lessons learned. What are you learning on the project? You need to know the competencies that will guide you to become more effective at what you do. Like that project manager, that procurement officer who refused to write down a wrong invoice. If it were some people, they would say, I will take the money, and they will write it. Nobody would, after all, nobody, I'm the one writing, I'm the officer. Someday, these would be called to question. Because when audit will be done, the audit team may not smile on you. So Temilade says, this is only real on books. So in Nigeria, it's all about buying your way through. Your competence may be overlooked because someone wants to be settled. Can I tell you for free tonight that there are people who are facing trials today? Why? For things that they did in times past, that ordinarily nobody saw them. They connived with one another to do it. And what happened? Billions of naira in contracts. I can tell you that there are organizations that are still, there are project managers that are still doing the right thing. Yeah, very true. I was on a building project some years ago, 2 years ago. We were building an administrative block. And somebody said, about three persons approached me and said, project manager, PM, now that so much monies are coming in, and can we just set aside some money to take care of ourselves? The question I asked, take care of yourselves as in what? He said, this is something we do. People do it, and nobody will ask you. You are the one that you prepare the budget, all the monies come to you, you know how much comes in and goes out. It is what you write that people will take. I said, no, we can't do that. No problem, Amina Abubakar. Yes, the community manager would, yeah, would provide that, okay? Yeah, no problem. I know there are lots of questions to ask. So we will definitely talk more about it. I'll be your mentor and your coach even after this program, okay? So it's very important that we understand that every project, your integrity, what would make you stand tall for 1,000 years, if any human can even reach 1,000 years, is your integrity, the value. So as a project manager, the code of conduct must not be compromised. Do not join the bandwagon to do evil, because at the end of the day, when it will be called, where would you be? So every stakeholder has their objectives and their interests. Like we did mention, they said in Nigeria, you must lobby, you must do this, you must do that. Every stakeholder have their interests and needs. So based on their interests and needs, they will want to approach you. So see things from a different perspective. resolve conflicts in a fair and honest manner, negotiate the way you ought to negotiate, understand that people are different, understand that people come from different backgrounds, understand that people communicate differently, understand that people cannot always be like you, but it doesn't call for compromise. Where you need to be flexible, not in the wrong way. When you need to be flexible, tolerate others, empathy, have self control for the things that you do. So, when you're empathetic to different people, doesn't mean you are compromising to their standards. So, that is what it means. Okay, so let's discuss. Oh, let's just talk a little bit. We still have about 3-4 minutes. Then we can go on a quick break. Okay. So the whole lot that we are facing in different projects, either an organization. Okay. So Rowley says that good name is far better than riches. It may seem foolish, but in the long run, it will save you. That's very correct. What will someone do in a government project with power and connection from above? That is it. Shayi says, do not compromise. Hmm. Yes, Ononuju Eunice. Yes, tonight we will be rounding off the project management class sessions. Okay, so by next week you will be preparing for your exam. There will be like a final exam for all students. So you have to prepare. That's what it means. Okay. So please, once again, remember that we'll be having our capstone project. Every student is expected to turn in an individual project, real situational project. Okay. So not in teams anymore. This is your project. It could be a cake you want to bake. It could be you want to build a house. It could be you want to visit a motherless baby home. Whatever project you want to embark on, using all we have learned in the past 10 weeks, you have to bring it on board. So if you participated actively in the team sessions, I'm sure that you are definitely going to do so well. Okay. So Ononuju, I hope I have clarified your question. So would the exam be on I'm not sure I really understand what Hefzibah is saying, but well, the community manager will clarify, but whichever platform the exams would be written, you will definitely be informed. Okay. Yes, the class is ending tonight. Okay. We would be ending tonight. Okay. Oluwatemiloro, I'm sure you are not. I don't know. Are you asking what would the structure of the exam look like? It will definitely be based on what you have learned so far. 10 weeks, what you have learned. Akim Pelu says, what are the necessary documents that would be submitted for the individual project? Is it the same as the team? Very true, very correct. There were basic things we mentioned here while learning across these 10 weeks. Remember, every project has a life cycle. So, from initiation to closure, I'm sure if you want to go for a cake, let's say you want to bake cake or snacks, you would start from somewhere and definitely you would end somewhere. So, whatever, thank you, community manager, all information regarding the exams would definitely be communicated to you. We would go for a short break. Okay. Please take that time to filling the attendance, and also um, before the end of tonight's class, we would be having an evaluation where you will just give us your feedback on what you think so far this class has been to you. Once again, might remain Kingsley. See you on the second side of this session tonight. All right. Thank you. Hello and welcome back to the second half of the class tonight. I remain Kingsley, and with me on the coach tonight is Nancy Baba Ali. Okay. All right. So if we are back, can I confirm that we are back? If you are back, please, can you confirm that you are? Esther says yes. Okay, welcome back. All right, so let's get back to the class, okay? And have the next 45 minutes together to just talk about getting yourself certified in project management. Every profession has certifications, no doubt. And tonight I'll just give us a little about PMP, CAPM, and then the Prince 2. Okay. PMP is that you are a project management professional. It means that you're not just, you've really have some experience, okay, working as a project manager. While CAPM is a certified associate in project management, it's like an entry. You don't really know so much, but you want to delve in gradually and get to know more, okay? While we have the PM book, it's actually like a textbook, okay? It's a guide, project management guide. We call it the project management body of knowledge. Okay, so it has different editions that have been published. I think currently we are in the seventh edition, and some of the certification exams still use the sixth or the seventh edition. But it doesn't mean that you cannot make reference to previous editions. So you can search. The books are available online. You can search for it online. You may get them, but in case you don't, you can also still reach out to me. I can give that out at no cost, please. At no cost. So I'm saying it here so that you will not think I'm going to make a dime from it. Okay. Integrity in the profession matters a lot. So it's part of the mentoring that we are going to provide. Okay. So that book, it's just like a guide, like a textbook the essentials of project management from all the processes, all we have been talking about. Okay. So it's also a guide that prepares you for the P. So tonight, we are delving straight up into just to talk about an overview. Okay. So who has this PMP? There is this organization called or institute called Project Management called PMI. Okay. They are the leading professional associations for those who have chosen project management careers. So sometimes you hear someone say is a project manager, and he's PMP certified or CAMP certified. So now you understand what it means. Okay. So in the PMI family of credentials, we have the PMP, we have the CAMP, and there are also others. We have the risk management professional, we have the scheduled manager. They are different, about up to six or seven thereabouts. Okay, while Prince 2 is on the other side, so it's not like on the PMI family directly. Okay, so this PM book guide is a document. used by PMI as a foundation. So it's just like whoever wants to study biology, we have modern biology in physics, we have PNOKK, you have different textbooks like that. Mathematics, understanding mathematics 1, understanding mathematics 2. So that is the same way this textbook is, or a document. It's like a book, actually a book. Okay. So um currently they are in the 7th edition, which was released in the year 2021. All right, so let's just look at the difference between PMP and CAMP. PMP started in 1984, while CAMP started in 2003. So PMP are for people who have demonstrated a good measure of experience and competence in leading teams. So you're no longer a baby. You have some kind of formal experience as in project management. Okay, Rosemary, good evening. You're welcome. So um, at least a minimum of 3 to 5 years or 60 months PM experience. Okay. So, you know what that means. 60 months, you know what it means. Okay. Directing people with at least 7 and a half hours on different tasks. So you can relate with our Gantt chart when we talk about hours spent on projects. Say 35 contact hours of formal education. So if you remember, you're ready, like for example, you've joined PMI as a member, okay? Just like as we have Nigerian Institute of Management, um, journalism, and things like that. So if you are a member, you will not be paying about 575. It should be about 284. Okay. So, and the PMP exam actually covers all aspects of the project lifecycle. So you can see that 13% of the questions will come from initiation, 24% from planning, 30% from execution, 25% from monitoring and control, and then 8% from project closure. So you can see that it's not a child's play, okay? And then we also have what we call the CAMP, which was initiated in 2003 All right, apologies for that network glitch. The network just flung me out unexpectedly. Okay. So if you can hear me, please can you confirm that you can hear me, please? Can I confirm? Can you hear me now, please? Can you confirm? Hello, can you hear me? All right. Okay, so let's roll. Okay. So the CAMP is actually about 150 questions to be answered in 3 hours. USD. And the full price is about $300. Okay. And covers 12 aspects. So all these aspects covers entirely what you have in the sixth edition textbook. Okay. In the ratio of 4%, 4%, 11%, 11%, just like that. Okay. So, like I did mention, book, PM book, just you can type it out and you can get it online. Okay. So, what do you need to do to prepare for the exam? All right, so we were talking about Prince 2, right? Yeah, sure. So I hope I'm back. Can you hear me now clearly, please? Don't mind this network tonight, okay? I hope we are back. Can we hear me? Can you hear me loud and clear, please? Okay, so we're saying that in the early classes we had the first few weeks where we talked about the five stages of the project management life cycle. Okay, so the Prince 2 is slightly different, but doesn't look far from it. Okay, the Prince 2 has its processes where you have to start up a project, initiate the project, direct the project, control the stages, manage product deliveries, set boundaries, and then you close the project. Okay, and then you talk about planning for the next phase. So it's like you're picking a prototype somewhere. So sometimes you've heard of pilot projects, okay? Something that was used here and implemented somewhere else. Okay, so it uses that technology, that technique, okay, and it always has a business case. So there's something it looks at. It has an eye somewhere. There's something that happening. Okay, okay. Oh, it's telling you how to prepare for the exams. Okay, okay, okay. Let's go back there. Let's go back there. Okay, so preparing for the exam has to do with the textbook, the PM book guide. Okay, the sixth edition or the seventh edition. Okay, so that is it. So what it does is you just have to prepare. Okay, you have to study like you can go online, Google like PMP practice questions or CAMP practice questions on Prince 2 practice questions. Practice well over 1,000 questions. Okay, because you're going to be writing about 180, so they are tricky. They are tricky. Okay, just like some of the questions you met in the project management quiz every week. So um, there will be similar, identical things, but they are different. Okay, so questions will be coming from the five life cycle processes, from initiation down to closure. Okay, so that's where the questions will be coming from, and then also try to take the exam like 30 to 60 days time, like between now and the next 3 months if you can. Okay, because you've learned so much and you don't need to throw them away, especially if you have the fund. Okay, and try to study at your try to take the exam at your most productive time of the day, when you know that you have, not when your brain is already redundant, your learning curve for that day has gone down, you now bust in, you want to go and take the exam. No, 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 you're not really going to do well. And then try not to study a night before the exam. Okay, there's no a FICO kind of thing to it. Just leave that night so that you don't mix up a lot of things. Okay, so just rest for that night, and I think that would be that. Okay, yes, Omoda Sala, that's correct. Yeah, the questions in the, yeah, they are so tricky. Yeah, so the questions were set with the PMP and CAMP ideology. Okay, so it's something you think you know it, but yes, you do, you know it, but sometimes you can just mix them up. So that's just it. Okay, yeah. So and then we talked about Prince 2 being projects in controlled environments version 2, where you have to look at a business case. There's a prototype somewhere, a project has been implemented somewhere, like let's say the national identity um, cards, for example, if let's say we first saw it in the UK, for example, and the team looked at it and said, wow, this is a nice concept. I think this is something we can do here in Nigeria or in our organization. Can we bring it in, like mode of payment of workers? So there's a business case, there's something it looks at. Okay. So, but the other methods of project management we've looked at, you may not even have an idea before now. You just started it up. But Prince 2 usually has a case to look back at. Okay. So you have to train people, okay, based on what that system that have worked, and see how they can also implement them. Then what next? Then you need to also establish, just like as we have monitoring and control in the project management system, here you also have to review from time to time, okay, to ensure that the system works and is something that can be implemented. Okay. No, no, no. For the professional exams, not the LITA exams, please. That's for the PMP and the CAMP. Okay, Zoe, please don't be confused. Yes, I think I've talked about. Okay, I think Omodasola was making reference to something. She said she was talking about. I did mention that the PMP and the CAMP, the 180 or 150 questions, they are tricky. Okay, they are very tricky. They are things that you look at them, it seems so similar. Okay, you may just confuse initiation for planning or execution or things like that. So you may not really know that. So you must really know what you're doing. So the later exams we took, the quizzes were set also in that tricky ideology, so that you can know that it's not just a straightforward question and answer thing. You have to think about it. So please, for submission of your individual projects, you can use the LMS. Okay. Please, if you need to reach out to myself or Miss Nancy, we are on the Telegram platform, or you reach out to the community manager. The community manager would give you the best way to reach out to the facilitators. Okay. All right. Okay. So so I don't know. Can we see the slides? Can you any of us see the slides? If you can, I don't know, but can you see the slides? Yes, can I confirm that you can see the slides, please? Okay, so that's the overview of how the Prince 2 looks like. Okay, so it uses a business case. Okay, it uses a business case. That business case, the prototype for which it works. Okay, you have to. It's similar, but not the same thing exactly with the project lifecycle that we have studied before. You start up the project, you initiate, you direct, you control, you manage how the project is being delivered. You set boundaries, then you close the project, and then you plan. Okay, so it also has its components, like so they're not just arranged the same way. So it's not far different. Okay. Okay, so then to the PMP, the Prince 2, it's roughly about 600,000 or thereabout. So sometimes people do write through organizations, take the exams. So when they do take the exams, they enroll through the organization and write the exam. While if you decide that you want to just apply to write the exam, just like the PMP and the CAMP, it's also happening. So there are different organizations that do that. And I don't know really, but for now, we keep it locked up for now. So Lita may also give us further insights, okay, as regards the PMP, CAMP. So um, if you indicate interest at some point, maybe you want to get that done. So you can always contact the community manager, and there will be a guide for that. Okay. So so we have had wonderful weeks sections together, and I must really commend every one of us who have, in one way or the other, made this project possible. Thank you for being here. We're expecting that you will apply what you have learned to a real world or real society project. Remember that you have to develop a project plan and execute it, and then you turn in your results. Let's see what you were able to come up with. Okay. And for the certifications, you need to review all we have taught you so far, practice your exam questions, and develop exam taking strategies. Very important. Okay. So once again, there would be an evaluation. Um, the community manager will post an evaluation um, link for all we have learned so far. Let's have your views, what you think about this program, about its organization and all. So you can take a few minutes to do that. I would be definitely here after, so you can always reach me on the Telegram platform for your questions. Be here to provide mentoring. Uh, okay, Ishel says she's asking, can we also take these professional exams being at this early stage in project management, or we have to get some experience first? Yes, what I would advise is ensure that you are prepared to take the exam first. You must have studied so hard for it. You must also have some experience, because there would also be like some questions that would just, like some case studies, some scenarios that would be presented to you, okay, just to evaluate what they, just like they want to know exactly what you have. When you are presented with a situation, how can you resolve it? Okay, I'm sure we had a case scenario like where we did use Chioma, Kemi, and I think one of the teammates like that, one of the students as well. So we did that evaluation in class, and it was worth it. Fumilayo, what are you not clear about, please? Yes, and Agatha, thank you, Teresa, thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow, thank you so much, thank you. The later exams, 28, the window will be opened on the 28th, and you have up until 1st November to turn it in. So please, please, there will be no excuse for that. Rachel Mesoma is trying to find out what real world project are we talking about. I mentioned something. I said you may want to bake a cake. Any project, anything. They're different. It could even be in your organization. If you are working in an organization, you can come up with something. You may want to bake a cake if you are into baking. You may want to deliver something. You may want to procure something. So what did you how did you procure it? What steps did you take? Was there a project charter? Was there a budget? Did you consider risk? Was there are there lessons learned? So there should also be some documentation. Okay. So it's been very engaging, I must say. Been very, very engaging having us on this platform. So yeah, I don't know, but so I think it's very key, it's very important that we we review that. Okay. So the community manager would post an evaluation kind of. So let's get your feedback. Okay. So yeah, yeah. Nonuju says that she feels confident that she has what it takes to become a certified project manager. Yeah, I agree with you. Okay. So it takes only yourself to say no. Okay. It just takes you to say no. Okay. So it's been a wonderful time once again. So any questions? Thank you, Lua Tobi, Dima, Haja, Carlo, Nonuju. I don't know what. In fact, um, I don't need to get emotional now. I'm feeling that it's been amazing with you guys, with you here, with all the students. I must really appreciate the community managers. They have been wonderful. The technical team, everyone, Lita. I mean, it's been wonderful. But just know that we are not leaving you. We would still be here to mentor you, to hold you by the hand, okay, in your project management journey. Okay, so I look forward to engaging more with the students, and I must really say, Inyobong, thank you. Zoe, thank you. Bakare, Duru, Chinemerem, Dorcas, yeah. Why is Choma? I've not seen Choma here on this call tonight. I've not seen Oye Nike. Gossip Favor, thank you so much. Shishel, Amortala, Bakare. Esther says, would she be given a certificate if you meet after the evaluation the criteria for issuing certificates? At least you should know by now that you need to have participated in quizzes, attended the classes, and then your capstone project, you have to also turn it in. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Bumi said it's like we did not get to the end of today's class. We did. It's becoming, yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you, Inemeset. Thank you, thank you. You've all done so well. You've been so amazing. In fact, please, deadline for the individual project, please, by next weekend, we should be able to have you turn in your projects, please, so that other faces can also kick off. Okay. So please, by next weekend, please try to turn in your capstone project by next weekend. Please, I plead with you. Okay. Just try. Okay. Just try. How do we submit our capstone projects? Please, on the LMS, please. The community manager would define the procedures for the exams, please. Yeah. Your capstone project, every student is expected to turn in their projects. Please, 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 very important. Don't say you did not hear. Inform others as well. Deadline for your personal project is 1st of November. All right. So once again, it's that time where we have to call it a night. These sessions, Anoluwapo, what is it? What exactly is it? Yeah, he said no one is answering you. What exactly? What exactly, please? Hmm. Yeah, remember in project management we said that whatever has a beginning has an end. So I think this is project closure. No, 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 class closure, right? Yeah, sure. I think so. Ibukunoluwa, whichever method you want to use that makes it very presentable, easy to access, and easy to read and understand. That's wonderful. I'm going to miss everyone, but I want you to know that my joy, the greatest joy I would have, is to see every one of you rise to the top as project managers. Okay? Elizabeth, oh, good. Team 5, right? Thank you all. On behalf of myself, Kingsley, Nancy Baba Ali, the community manager, and the team, and the behind the scene um, crew, I must really say a big thank you also to Ladies in Tech Africa. I'm sure that we are going to see again. So reach out, please communicate when you can, and do have a nice evening ahead. Once again, it's Kingsley signing out. Do have a nice night. Okay, bye.